Hey guys, do you hate shaving every day? Well, go ahead and throw away your razor. Why? Because science says so. Now, men's facial hair might not seem like the most scientific of pursuits, but if you are wondering whether or not to go clean shaven or to let it all hang out, or maybe a little bit of something in between, I've got some good news for you. You can save the time, going all clean shaven, because studies have found that the ladies like the beards. So there was one study in the Journal of Marketing and Communication that was evaluating women's perception of men with lovely beards like this and those who were clean shaven, and it found that the gals rated the men with beards as more trustworthy. And what they were doing in the study was selling different items. So apparently if you're a salesman and you also want to date a woman, you should grow a beard. You wouldn't trust a face that looks like this. Now, if you don't want to put in all the time and effort that it takes to grow a full, lush beard, women also find stubble very, very sexy. According to yet another study published in the Journal of Personality and Individual Differences, heterosexual women rated guys with beards as super hot, men with full stubble as super duper hot. In fact, the guys with the stubble were the ones that women said that they would most likely be to date for the long term. And that's not it, there's more. There was a 2013 study out of Australia which found that beard hair protects men from 90 to 95% of UV rays. So, beards are attractive to women. They make guys come across as more trustworthy, especially if they're hawking different kinds of products, as was tested in that study. And they protect the man's face from UV ray damage. Now, of course, not all guys can grow full, lush beards, and I understand. Let's take it down a notch to the mustache. Mustaches are a little bit trickier because they are more prone to fashion whims. For instance, in 1990, there was a study which came out finding that men with mustaches were perceived better in job interviews compared to men who came in totally clean shaven. Let's call it the Magnum PI effect. But as Tom Selleck is not quite the sex icon he used to be 30 years ago, experts would tell you that you might want to pay a little bit more attention to context if you're considering growing a mustache. If you're living in Portland or Brooklyn or a liberal college town, go for it! It'll go perfectly with your fixed gear bike. But if you want to be taken a little more seriously, mustaches might need to be reconsidered. Especially if you're going for something like a handlebar or a walrus, and just don't ever, ever, ever do the Adolf. So to quickly recap, beards are awesome, stubble, totally great, mustaches, meh, it depends. Which brings us to the goatee. Scientifically speaking, the goatee is the riskiest possible facial hair arrangement that a man could choose. A recent study found that people tend to associate the shape of a goatee with being completely, purely, totally evil. Now, I realize that I'm sporting a bit of a soul patch here, a derivative of the goatee, but it's to drive home the point of this study, which found that there was something about the shape of a downward-facing triangle that really kind of creeped people out. Boom! So this should come as great news to guys who shave every single day and are like, oh, I wish I didn't have to shave every day. Well, you don't. Beards are becoming a lot more acceptable in the workplace. They're in fashion, scientifically proven to get the ladies' heads a-turning. So happy shaving, or rather, not shaving.